Spinal Tap II, The End Continues, is a sequel to the legendary This Is Spinal Tap, released in 1984, one of the very first mockumentaries which changed comedy forever. I've just watched The End Continues and I absolutely loved it. In this video, I'll give you some background, trivia you might not know, and then of course my review. What works, what maybe falters a little, and why all told this deserves for you to give it a watch. Spinal Tap II, The End Continues is a 2025 mockumentary comedy directed by Rob Reiner. It reunites Christopher Guest, Michael McKean and Harry Shearer as Nigel Tufnell, David St. Hubbins and Derek Smalls respectively, the same band members from the original. Marty DeBerge, played by Reiner himself, returns as the documentarian. The film follows the band 40 years after the original, reuniting for one final show. We see what they've been up to in the interim: Nigel running a cheese and guitar shop, David composing phone-hold music and true crime podcasts, and Derek curating a glue museum. Production? Well, there's quite a long road to the sequel. For decades, the creators, Guest, McKean, Shearer and Reiner, fought in legal battles over rights, royalties and the original film's intellectual property. Only in recent years did they regain full control via their joint entity, authorized Spinal Tap, LLC. The movie was then released in the United States on September 12, 2025. The trigger for the reunion is a contract inherited by Hope Faith, daughter of the original manager, requiring one more concert. That sets Marty off to track down Nigel, David and Derek in their various post-music lives. We see familiar Spinal Tap absurdities. Derek gets glue stuck up his nose. Nigel and David have a feud. David suspects Nigel of an affair with his ex-wife, Janine. Mistaken identities, interpersonal tension, and classic Tap stuff. The big set-piece moment, a Stonehenge sequence returns, this time with Elton John at the piano, a full-size Stonehenge set, druid robes, dwarves, but catastrophe looms. A prop falls, crashes the piano, Elton and the band all underneath. Elton's bit, where he ends up in hospital, had everyone fooled online, but was all part of the gag. It's classic Spinal Tap, blending reality and absurdity perfectly. For decades, the original creators earned almost nothing from This Is Spinal Tap due to terrible rights deal. At one point, they reportedly just got $81 in merchandising revenue and $98 in music royalties. With the sequel comes a new Spinal Tap album, The End Continues, released with new tracks and re-recordings of classic songs, with big-name collaborators like Elton John, Paul McCartney, Garth Brooks, Shearer, etc. The original Stonehenge gag is famed. They meant to lower an 18-foot Stonehenge, but got an 18-inch version. In the sequel, they get correct that the Stonehenge prop is full-sized, but of course, disaster still strikes. Besides the main three, there are a lot of cameos: Elton John, as I mentioned, Paul McCartney, Questlove, Lars Ulrich of Metallica, Garth Brooks, and even Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers. David St. Hubbins wears a t-shirt of Shank Hall, a fictional venue from the first film, which is a nice little touch. The film's schedule was tight. They were at Stonehenge in England about 3 weeks before the release. Since Tony Hendra, the actor who played the original manager Ian Faith, died in 2021, his daughter Hope Faith, played by Kerry Gondelman, appears in the story, managing the contract. Now, I absolutely loved Spinal Tap II, The End Continues. This is exactly the kind of film I needed right now. Hilarious, self-aware, and full of that same chaotic charm that made the original This Is Spinal Tap such a cult classic. The original from 1984 basically created the modern mockumentary. Without it, we probably wouldn't even have The Office or Parks and Recreation. Even Ricky Gervais has said Spinal Tap was a massive influence on him. He literally joked that he stole the idea and sold it back to America when The Office USA came along. In The End Continues, where we catch up with the band decades later, older, greyer, but still brilliantly ridiculous. Christopher Guest, Michael McKean and Harry Shearer slip back into their roles like no time has passed. Their chemistry is incredible, that dry, dead serious delivery that makes the absurdity even funnier. What blows my mind is they're all American actors doing flawless British accents. Guest technically has British roots, but McKean and Shearer sound spot on. Rob Reiner returns both behind and in front of the camera, here as Marty DeBerge, the documentarian, and he's brilliant once again. Then comes the cameos: Elton John, Paul McCartney, Questlove, Garth Brooks, Lars Ulrich, and Chad Smith, all popping in to jam or joke around. What really got me though is the strange warmth underneath it all. It's like a weird love story between these three men who have shared this bizarre journey. There's something moving about seeing them older, still bickering, still playing, still refusing to take anything seriously, except the music, of course. In a world full of drama and negativity, Spinal Tap II is the perfect film to just sit back, laugh, and feel good. It's funny, nostalgic, and genuinely joyous. And in many ways, albeit it is a mockumentary, it almost feels like an insight into a 70s or 80s British rock band. I even saw an interview with the late Ozzy Osbourne saying he was the only one not laughing, as he felt it was almost real. This film really respects its roots. It maintains the absurdity, the mockumentary format, props going wrong, interpersonal mishaps. And also, so many of the new touches are great. The cameos, the soundtrack, the callbacks, the emotional threads, without weighing too heavily. The film is also tightly paced and doesn't overstay its welcome. If anything, it leaves you wanting more, which is always a good sign. So maybe what's lost in some edge tightness or shock of novelty is more than made up for with warmth, fun and laughter. It's definitely a worthy sequel, and one that does not tarnish the original, but rather extends its legacy in a lovely way. Spinal Tap II, The End Continues, gets a 9.5 out of 10. It's a worthy follow-up that proves some amps really do go all the way to 11. Thanks for watching. Hit like and drop your favorite Spinal Tap moments in the comments below, and subscribe for more reviews right here on the Moving Picture Review.